Catullus's Vivamus me Lesbia atque amemus is a masterpiece of Roman love poetry, celebrated for its passion, structure, and poetic innovation. In this poem, Catullus invites Lesbia and us on a journey through life, love, and the defiance of societal norms, all framed by powerful subjunctive verbs. Each section of the poem beautifully unpacks these commands, blending themes of carpe diem, romantic fervor, and playful rebellion against the constraints of public opinion. One of Catullus's most brilliant and famous openings, the Vivamus me Lesbia atque amemus, begins Catullus's contemplation of love with his girlfriend. The first three lines are governed by three different verbs, Vivamus, amemus, and aestimemos, and these verbs are present subjunctive forms, examples of the jussive use, let us live and let us love and let us value. Think of these as emphatic first-person commands. We also get our first mention of Catullus's name for his girlfriend in this line, Lesbia. Roman love poets often gave their girlfriends fake names as a way to hide their identity, but the pseudonym traditionally had the same meter as the real name. In this way, Catullus's girlfriend could insert her own name in the poetry and get a personal love poem. So Lesbia, as a dactyl, would be a substitute for another dactyl of a name. And from this and other sources, we get the idea that Catullus's girlfriend was the famous Roman Clodia, who is well known even to us today. It's not a surprise that she got mixed up with the great poet Catullus, too. So why name her Lesbia? With this name, Catullus is able to draw a direct connection between his poetry and that of the Greek poet Sappho, considered by many, including Catullus, to be the greatest of the Greek elegyists. In fact, several of Catullus's poems are directly inspired by, or even translations of, specific Sappho poems. The tricolon, that is three phrases, of the first three lines consists of our three verbs. The first two, just simple verbs without objects, in lines 2 and 3 are the real meat of the poem. Be sure to take rumores omnes as the object of aestimemos. One more quick note about the grammar. When you estimate something, you estimate an accusative, and that's rumores, to be worth a genitive, and that's unius assis, a genitive of price. In line 4, soles, the plural form of sun, can either mean the light of the sun or the sun over multiple days. In the next line, the main clause here is nobis, and then we get the cum clause, which is a bit more parenthetical. Nox est perpetua una dormienda. This is a gerundive of obligation, a passive periphrastic, and the dative nobis is the agent of the gerundive. Make sure you translate it with a must, and you can have the nobis be the subject, we must. This cum clause represents the light of the day, but also human life, when the brief light of our lives sets once and for all. And so the next line, about sleeping for an eternal night, well, this is death. The next three lines are Catullus at his resonant best. It's as if he's giving an order to a merchant, and then gets carried away, as you would think he would, with his girlfriend. How many kisses? Well, there's 1,000, then 100, then... Wait a second. Catullus doesn't want us to know how many. That's the contour amemus illa. The word basia is neuter plural, so the milia multa in line 10 and the illa in line 11 both refer back to the kisses. Notice that fecerimus is future perfect, after we've made them, at some point in the future. Ne sciamus is a negative purpose clause, so that we don't know, as is the entire next line. For the quis in line 12, read aliquis. And so here's a rhyme to help you out with this. After si nisi nomen ne, ali takes a holiday. It, along with the malus, is anyone evil. And take the tantum in the last line to go with basiorum, a partitive genitive, so great a number of kisses. Catullus is playing with numerology. In the ancient world, if you knew a specific bit of information about someone, like their birthday or their favorite number, you could use that to cast an evil spell on them. So in this case, if our Mr. Evil knows how many kisses to the exact number Lesbia gave to Catullus, then he could hex both of them and get them both under his spell. But confusing them, putting them in a different order, forestalls the hex. So let's look at this poem in full now. We had three verbs in the present subjunctive in the first three lines, vivamus, amemus, and aestimemos. The vivamus, let us live, is directly assessed in lines 4 through 6. Let's make the most out of our lives because death is coming. The amemus, let us love, is directly addressed in lines 7 through 9. Kiss me 1,000 times and more. And the amemus, let us consider worthless the opinions of others. The longest of the opening 3 lines is the longest section of the poem, the part where we shouldn't care about what everyone else thinks or says. Our Mr. Evil, the Hexbringer, is one of those rather stern old men who might judge Catullus and Lesbia for their love. As brilliant a structure as the poem is wonderful. And if you would like more help with this and other Catullus poems, let us head over to latintutorial.com, where you'll find this video alongside the full text of Catullus 5, with vocabulary and grammar tools. And that's not all at latintutorial.com. There's more of Catullus and other authors, along with all my videos and vocabulary building exercises to supercharge your Latin.